Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back into the video today, and today the Denver Broncos crushed the Los Angeles Rams in the third and final preseason game for both of these squads, 41-0. A 41-0 shutout in the preseason. I know it is the preseason, but this was a decent game to watch. The Rams were not playing any of their starters, but we did get to see Jarrett Stidham, backup quarterback for the Broncos, and also, again, national championship winning quarterback Stetson Bennett is still, playing preseason for the Los Angeles Rams. He looks solid today for the Los Angeles Rams, and also former Denver Broncos quarterback Brett Rippon played his former team today for the Los Angeles Rams. This was a decent game, besides it being a blowout. Let's go over the scoring summary, as this was a 41-0 final score. So there were three scores for the Denver Broncos. They scored every quarter but the third quarter. 3 scores in the first, 2 in the second, and 2 in the fourth. So here are the 3 scores in the first quarter, and it's a Jaleel McLaughlin 1-yard touchdown run, and Brett Maher makes the extra point at 7-0. Then that touchdown scores with 9 minutes and 30 seconds remaining. Then Brett Maher makes a 46-yard field goal to make it 10-0 with 6 minutes remaining. And then after that, with 1 minute and 45, Jarrett Stidham throws an 8-yard touchdown pass to Albert Okwuegbunam. And that's an 8-yard touchdown pass. Brett Maher makes the extra point. It's 17-0. Then second quarter, 2 more scores. Tony Jones Jr. with a 1-yard touchdown run. Brett Maher makes the extra point. It's 24-0. And that's with 10 minutes remaining in the second quarter. And then in the fourth, and then with 4 minutes remaining in the second quarter, Brett Maher makes a 33-yard field goal. It's 27-0. So 27 points going into halftime. No scores in the third quarter for the Broncos, but they do score 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter with 10 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. A Tyler Batty 1-yard touchdown run. Brett Maher makes the extra point. It's 34-0. And then a Ben DiNucci 3-yard touchdown pass to Josh Hammond, and Brett Maher makes the extra point. It's 41-0 as the final score. Our game leaders. So passing yards. Former Denver Bronco today for the Los Angeles Rams had Brett Rippon was 7 for 13 with 67 passing yards, while Jarrett Stidham was 17 for 28 with 236 passing yards and 1 passing touchdown. He played the whole first half, and he played the first drive of the third quarter, and that was it for Jarrett Stidham in this game. And then Ben DiNucci played the rest of the game for the Denver Broncos. Rushing yards, the leader in rushing yards for the Rams was Rivers with 6 carries and 32 rushing yards. And then you have Jaleel McLaughlin with 10 carries for 48 rushing yards and 1 rushing touchdown for the Broncos. Receiving yards for the Rams, Trammell with 5 receptions and 55 receiving yards, and then Albert Okwuegbunam with 7 receptions for 110 receiving yards and 1 receiving touchdown. Really solid day for him today. And then other quarterbacks in this game, Stetson Bennett. I said he had a solid day. Actually, Stetson Bennett did not have a good day. It was 4 for 9, 14 passing yards, and 2 interceptions. A really bad day for Stetson Bennett, who's been really solid in the preseason and the previous 2 games for the Los Angeles Rams. Other quarterback play today for the Denver Broncos, Ben DiNucci was 11 for 15 with 117 passing yards and 1 passing touchdown. The Broncos threw a total of 342 passing yards in this game. Besides Jaleel McLaughlin with 48 rushing yards, Dwayne Washington had 6 carries for 26 rushing yards, and quarterback Jarrett Stidham also had a 20-yard run, and backup quarterback Ben DiNucci, or third-string quarterback Ben DiNucci, had 4 carries for 22 yards, and Tyler Batty had 8 carries for 15 yards and 1 touchdown. Besides Ronnie Rivers with the 32 rushing yards, Zach Evans had 23 rushing yards, and Royce Freeman had 14 rushing yards as well. Besides Albert Okwuegbunam and Austin Trammell, you have for the Broncos, Brandon Johnson had 2 receptions for 58 receiving yards. Lil Jordan Humphrey had 4 receptions for 57 receiving yards. How about the rookie? Really liked what I saw from him in this game. I love this kid. Marvin Mims Jr. had the second-round pick, had 2 receptions for 51 receiving yards. Montreal Washington had 1 reception for 13 receiving yards. And that was really it. Nobody else. Marquez Callaway did play in this game, and so did Kendall Hinton. Callaway was targeted once and Hinton was targeted twice, but neither of them had any receptions. For the Rams, besides Austin Trammell, Braxton Burmester had 2 receptions for 15 receiving yards, and Royce Freeman had 2 receptions for 7 receiving yards. Besides that, nobody well-known out there for the Los Angeles Rams today. A couple of fumbles in this game, and there was a fumble by Drew Sanders, who I believe is an offensive player for the Denver Broncos, and it was recovered by Elijah Garcia, who I believe is an offensive lineman for them. They did fumble, but they did not lose it. One of their offensive linemen recovered, and that was it for fumbles. All right, defense tackles. Leader in tackles for the Rams was Quindell Johnson with 8 tackles. He also had a sack, and Seth Benson had 6 tackles. 2 sacks for the Rams in this game. 1 sack for Quindell Johnson, the leader in tackles, and 1 sack for Marquise Copland. And then 2 sacks for the Broncos as well, Thomas Income and Aaron Patrick, and they had 3 tackles for loss. There were a total of 2 interceptions in this game. And how about Drew Sanders, who had a fumble in this? I guess, okay, Drew Sanders is a defensive player. So I guess, because I didn't think it would have been a fumble in the Rams, because it says the Rams didn't fumble in this game. So Drew Sanders had himself a decent game today. He had an interception for a 32-yard return, and then you would see another interception for the Broncos by Asang Bazzi, and that was it for the interceptions today. So Drew Sanders with an interception for a 32-yard return, and then Asang Bazzi with an interception as well. So that's really it. I mean, yeah, the Broncos had their way against the Rams today, beating them 41-0 in a blowout. It's going to be interesting to see both of these teams play Week 1. Both of them have interesting matchups against division rivals. The Rams play the Seahawks Week 1. The Broncos play the Raiders Week 1. I'll make some predictions for these two teams Week 1. Broncos, I think they win Week 1. I think they beat the Raiders in a close game Week 1. But the Rams, I don't know. I want to say that Cooper Kupp and Matthew Stafford and Aaron Donald in that Rams defense pull out a good start to start this season and beat the Seahawks. But I believe that game is in Seattle. I think the Rams will probably lose Week 1. But neither one of these teams played any of their starters today in this game. But we'll see what happens. I'm excited for Week 1. Honestly, I think it should be fun to watch both of these two teams. These two teams, the Rams and the Broncos last year, were terrible. I think both of these two teams will be better than they were last year. Not that much better, but honestly, I think the Broncos and the Rams are going to be 2 fun teams to watch in Week 1. Mark my words. I just feel like the Rams and the Seahawks and the Broncos and the Raiders, those 2 games in Week 1, those are both afternoon games if I'm correct. And those division games as well, I think those will be some fun games to watch in Week 1, especially in the later slates of games. That's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed them or thoughts on the game for today, and peace out.